welcome back to Bowls with the Bard. My name is Cakes, I am your host. On this week's episode, we are chatting with JC Payne.
Hello!
JC is an actor in the Baltimore area. He's also acted in Harrisburg, I think I saw, right?
Yeah,
Cool.
that's where I'm from originally.
Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah, he's acted at Gambit Theater Group. He is a frequent actor at Chesapeake Shakespeare Company. This is what I mean. The second it starts rolling, he's like,
I'm gonna get up in here.
I'm the star. He has also worked with Fools and Madmen up in Baltimore, and he's currently a student at UMBC.
Yeah, you got it all.
Okay,
Look at you.
Cool. Did I miss anything notable?
No note cards or anything.
Yeah, I did my research. So, before we start chatting about Shakespeare, let's smoke a bowl.
Oh
Yeah.
Why not?
Greens. Question number one. What was it that made you love Shakespeare?
Specifically, there was a class in high school. I think it was like, it wasn't an AP class. I wasn't an AP student. So, not a flex. Anti-flex. But we watched the Baz Luhrmann Romeo and Juliet.
Ooh, yep.
And it wasn't Leo in that movie for me, actually. It was John Leguizamo. I am so down for John Leguizamo in R&J, specifically. Like, his Tybalt, that's mwah.
Yes.
It's fabulous. Like, the spinning, the guns. So that's when I was like, well, maybe I should do some Shakespeare. And then I got cast in Taming of the Shrew. I played Vicentio. And I won an award, actually. In the Harrisburg area, they have this thing called the Hershey Theater Apollo Awards. So they send adjudicators, I guess, to the different high schools in the area that are participating. And they do it like the Tonys, except, like cheaper.
Yeah.
So I won for that.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. I won 2 that year. It was really crazy. Yeah.
That's really cool.
I was in Urinetown and I did that and I won both. And then it's all been downhill since then.
Peaked in high school.
That's it.
I feel.
When it happened, I was like, oh, well, this is it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you knew.
Yeah.
You knew you were peaking in high school.
Like,
damn.
Oh.
Rough.
At least it's happening. I'm grateful.
Yeah, of course, but that's no Tony.
No.
It's not.
Never gonna happen. Yeah. It would what would happen, I would get nominated. And then, I'm not even gonna go. There's no point.
They just.
So I think, John Leguizamo.
It's like the thing.
Yep.
The spinning guns.
Yeah. And I met him once. Really nice guy.
Really?
Yeah. So I used to go to Wagner College on Staten Island, and they film a lot of movies there. I don't know if you've ever seen School of Rock, but
yeah.
Every time they show the outside of the school, that's main hall on Wagner campus.
Oh wow. Okay. Cool.
And they filmed the HBO movie with Al Pacino about the doctor that killed Michael Jackson. Filmed that there. And some John Leguizamo movies. So he was on campus, and I saw him when I was going to get my lunch, and I was like, "Yo, I love your one-man shows in Romeo and Juliet, bro."
Yeah.
And he was really sweet.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Very cool. You just played Benedict in Fools and Madmen, Much Ado About Nothing.
I did.
I just want to hear all about that because I love Fools and Madmen. I love Caitlin Carbone. I love Josh Thomas.
Yes.
So I want to hear all about it.
I love all of them too. They're so wonderful. Okay, where do I begin? So, I'll talk about me.
Yes, talk about you. That's why you're here.
So, in January, I decided that I wanted to play Benedict in Much Ado About Nothing. And I was like, I'm going to do it. 4 different groups are doing this show. Somebody's gonna fucking cast me as Benedict. It's going to happen. And then auditioned for one, didn't get called back. Auditioned for another, I got called back. And I don't know, I thought callbacks went well, but it didn't get Benedict. And then Fools and Madmen, I just heard about out of nowhere, and I was like, all right, let me show up. And then I got Benedict, and then they're like, oh, it's a hip hop show. And my first thought, because I didn't see King Lear last year, I didn't really know about them. I was like, oh, this is gonna be terrible. I was like, because the whole time up until our first read, we didn't hear any of the music. Like our first time hearing the music was at the first read. So I was like, this could be really, really, really bad. This could be like super shitty. And then you go to the first read, and the music's awesome because like Josh is a fantastic lyricist. And he didn't like write raps before he started doing Fools and Madmen. That blew my fucking mind.
Yeah.
He's incredible, and he should always adapt Shakespeare or write things for the stage.
Yeah.
For me specifically. I found out the music was good. I was like, oh, thank God. And it's all black cast, and that was super cool. Because it's been a long time since I'd done a show that's just people of color.
Yeah.
And the way that we did our run is like we did a week of shows at schools. For it was like high schools, middle schools, and our best crowd was an elementary school. And the show was designed to be done in any room, which is really cool. You can take that shit into a library. One of the days we were in a library performing. And those crowds were interesting. Some of them didn't know a lot about the show going in, and I think in the future, if classes like were taught about the show they're going to see, because otherwise they'll sit there like, what? I don't really give a shit. But that's fine too. That's a fine thing to deal with as an actor.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I found out how quick I could get through a lot of those monologues. Like, I know nobody's listening, so I'm just gonna boom. We're gonna get to the next song, and it's gonna be okay. So that meant by the time we did it for like a public audience, we were so ready to like just have somebody that's listening to us, and we were so grateful. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what I love the most. I was just like so happy people were like, I'm like they give a shit what I'm saying. Yes. Oh my God. Because that didn't happen a lot during the week.
Okay, interesting.
But yeah, it was a dream come true for me because I always wanted to play Benedict. I identify with him. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to like put my stank on it. Because I saw the Kenneth Branagh one, and I was like, cool. And then I saw what's the other one? The Joss Whedon, yeah, with Alex Denisof. I think that's his name.
I'm so bad with actor names.
He was in Angel and Buffy. I know that much. But anyway, I saw that one too. Fine, whatever. But I was like, I have my own special kind of like neuroses that I like to put into things. So yeah, I just got to do that and to like be able to like talk to the audience because we did it in the round, people of the internet, and they were right there, so I could just have a conversation with them and people would respond or choose not to respond, and I had to deal with that, and it's oh God, it was so much fun because they were so appreciative.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a really good show, and I hope that there's a remount or something in the future. There's going to be an album.
Yes.
I don't know when that's going to come out, but
get the album.
Yeah, get the album. Download the album. Pay for the album.
Support Fools and Admin.
Give them money so that we can do the show more.
Mm-hmm.
It can be just $5. Give me $5. And then
I'll add on to that. You can also give me $5.
Yeah, and maybe there'll be a show.
Yeah. I might give that $5 to Fools and Madmen.
Right, Fools and Madmen. Yeah.
Probably.
But yeah, Much Ado was that shit. That's a high point for me, and my other high point was like doing Chekhov for the first time. Because I was in the Seagull. I played Constantine, and It was really depressing. Oh my god. Because the show's a comedy, right?
But
It is. If you are not playing Constantine.
yeah.
If you're playing Constantine, you're just suffering.
Yeah.
And when you're not on stage, you're waiting to go on for more suffering. Just never get what you want.
It sounds like a real high point.
Performance-wise.
Yes.
High point.
Yes.
Great performance, I think. Probably. People enjoyed it. They were crying. I was crying.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Exactly. That's all you can ask for.
it's crying.
Is crying.
Every time I'm on stage, someone must cry.
That's what you want. Was the Golden Love Slavers lost as well?
Yes. And there was crying.
There was crying.
It might have been sweat. I don't know. I don't know.
What's next? Like, what would be the next big ideal role that you would want to play?
Oh, okay. So my favorite tragedy is actually Othello.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoyed doing Othello, by the way.
Thank you.
That's actually my favorite production of Othello that I've seen so far. And I saw two last year. It was yours and the one at Towson. But yeah, that was really good. And I don't usually like that clown. I specifically, that's the one clown where I'm like,
Why are you here, man?
you can just
What are you doing? I was like, the show needs comedy.
It does. It really does.
You just have to walk on and be like, I am Joy and I don't belong.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I really enjoyed playing that clown.
Oh yeah, I can tell.
It works well in OP.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah. But my dream role is not Othello, it's Iago.
Yes.
Yeah, Iago's, I don't know, he's cooler than Hamlet, I think. He's a lot cooler than Hamlet. Hamlet kind of pisses me off sometimes.
I agree. He can be a little whiny bitch.
Yeah. Whereas Iago, that's a man of action.
Oh yeah, he's conspiring with you.
Yes, he's like, alright, this is what's gonna happen, and it's happening now. Like, come along, watch.
And like BT Dubs, now your hands are dirty too because you know.
Yeah. Such a great part.
So good.
And yeah, I'm interested in how that changes the dynamic between the two. Like what that means, how they could interpret that as a director. Love Iago, and also love I love Aaron more, obviously, because that's one where he's like, I'm not gonna tell you why I'm doing any of this, actually, just because.
He is so complex, and then like you hate him, and then he's heartbreaking all of a sudden. Like, I love that character.
Yeah.
I love that play.
Yeah, I wish people would do it more, but I also understand why. Because it's kind of a lot.
Yeah. I was like watching the RSCs the other day, and like, even them, like the most money in the world, they can't figure out a good way to deal with stumps. It's like, just that alone is a reason not to do that show. It's like, if you don't have money,
yeah.
What do you do?
Well, I read this thing that said it was a comedy, and I've never seen somebody do it as a comedy.
I would like to see it as a comedy.
Yeah.
I feel like you could pull that off really well.
Yeah, just go like the most ridiculous. Make it. So I'm interested in someone doing that. I don't know who would be willing to.
I didn't see it, but I know Shakespeare in the Pub did something for Fringe last year where like I think almost the whole venue was like covered in plastic, and they just like everything was like a splash zone, and they just like did exactly that where like blood was just like flying everywhere and people were trashed and
sounds amazing.
Yeah, I wish I could have seen it, but
yeah.
I didn't. Yeah.
I haven't seen Titus on stage yet. It live.
I haven't seen it live. Well, kind of. I saw it at Cinetic, so I haven't seen it with the text, but I've seen the story.
Like the dance.
Yeah. Yeah. It was cool. Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah. More laughs. That's what it needs.
Yeah, probably. less of a focus on like making everything look real.
Yeah, the whole, you know, the rape and the cutting off the tongue and the hands. Kind of a lot for what? That's Act 2, right?
Yeah, that happens real fast. Real fast.
Oh, it's like there's more.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, it does get worse from there.
Yeah. Yeah. No bueno. On that cheery note, if you could give someone who is just starting a career in Shakespeare a piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
Know what you're doing. That I find that a lot of young actors, when the reason like a lot of people I go to school with, they don't like Shakespeare is like, oh, I don't understand the words or what's being said. It's just like, well, what's more important is like what are you trying to accomplish right now, and that informs everything else. So I do that first if I'm like working on like a monologue or whatever. It's like, okay, what's going on in the story? Who am I talking to? What do I need? Does it work? How many different tactics am I going to try? And that's, yeah.
I really like that advice. That's something that I've like never heard from somebody before. A lot of people come in and are like, know how to approach the text, which is like a given.
Yeah, yes, the text is important.
You should be able to do that too. But like, yeah, I mean, that's also just as important. If you don't know what you're doing, the audience isn't gonna know what you're doing.
Yeah, like you can memorize the words and say the words, great, awesome. But if you don't know what the fuck's going on, then, you know, I'm bored. I get bored really easily.
Seriously. And neither will everybody in the audience knows when you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Oh god. Anyway, thank you so much for doing this today.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching. And we will see you guys next time on Bulls with the Bard. So, if you enjoyed today's episode and you would like to see more content like it, please like us on Facebook at Bulls with the Bard, subscribe to us on YouTube and WeedTube at Bulls with the Bard, and follow us on Instagram at Stoned Shakespeare. Bye, y'all!
Lay me where sad true lover never find my grave to weep there.